for bankruptcy. And just because it looked like a better business move at the moment, it was really nice to pull away from being attached to the business that way, because that could be a really stressful decision, but it wasn't very stressful to play around with the idea. And I thought that was probably one of the most important things, is to, hey, this is reality, man. Where are you at? If this doesn't work, then maybe you could be profitable doing something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I looked at that, and I was down $30,000 in the hole. And today after the meeting, I'm positive 60K in my account, and I actually have the 60K in my account. It's not just like, and we actually have more than that, but we're positive 60K. But it's more about, I mean, it's actual 60K that's on paper and it's in the account, and they line up. And they line up, because a lot of times when you're doing it wrong, they never line up.
Oh, Raul, dude, that is so awesome.
Yeah, so I would say that every week or every 2 weeks, it feels like a good win, just having cash in my account, like an enormous more than I've ever had in my life, and not worrying about. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we're not even that busy. We're really, really not that busy. I only got two trucks on the road, and we are managing to just nail it like month after month. And
that's so good.
Really good. That feels really good.
That's really good, Raul. I appreciate you sharing that, man. That's so cool. And I know it hasn't always been easy, but to hear that just a few months ago you were seriously considering bankruptcy as the best move, to now you've got cash in the bank, bills are paid, you're taken care of. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah. He's at 25% profit margin currently, and we're still working on the working on the numbers, but it's just, he's awesome. We're so proud of where you've come from, Raul, and how well things are going.
Okay, there is another win I want to share with you, everyone here. I've got some exciting news. If everyone can see the screen, that is not my baby. Did not have a baby. I'm not married. Not having a baby even anyway. Harley Lichty, one of our coaches here, just had his first child, his firstborn son, yesterday. This is Paul Lichty. Do you guys remember his middle names?
Levi Lee. Paul
Levi Lee Lichty.
9 pounds?
Coming in at 9 pounds, Kevin. I love Kevin's camera isn't even turned on, but you just hear him go, 9 pounds? By the way, we're talking about born baby weight. I think I was born 10 pounds, 10 ounces. Can anyone beat that? 10 pounds, 10 ounces?
Your poor mother.
I know. Yeah, I was born when the Dallas Cowboys were really popular in the early 90s, and the doctor literally said, we need to get this baby to try out for the Cowboys. So anyway, but yes, 9 pounds. The baby is healthy. I know Harley. And the cool thing about Harley, what I like to tell people is, especially people that work here, is while Redmond Growth is a organization that grows other businesses, it has this magical way of growing people in the process. And when Harley came on board with us, he was not really doing well financially. He was pretty miserable. He was depressed, didn't have much direction in life, no suitable dating prospects in sight. And today, he's happily married to an incredible woman, Danielle. They own a home together here in Tulsa. He's working on starting his own business, his ghostwriting business, where he writes books for other people, and he's actually getting clients for it. And he just had a baby. And all that happened over the course of the past 5 years. That's how long he's been with us. And so you're either growing or you're dying is a theme here. And I just wanted to celebrate that. Any other wins? I know it's kind of weird having just a newborn baby on the screen, but any other wins here that we've got to celebrate that we've experienced? Oh, Brent, dude, Brent gave us the coolest testimonial video. This dude was on vacation. Thank you so much for that video, Brent. This dude was on vacation, and he was talking about how, like, Usually my team reaches out to me for burning fires and stuff, especially when I'm gone, and I haven't really heard much from them at all. And I'm actually enjoying a vacation for the first time since you started the business, is what I gathered from it. So appreciate you sharing that win. Any other wins before we move on? Josh, good to see you, buddy. It's great to see you, Josh. By the way, this man with the beard, Josh, I have actually sparred this dude in boxing before. That's how we know each other. We've boxed together. That's not a dude you want to be hit by. Trust me on that. Okay. Just don't get on his bad side. Just trust me on that. Okay, let's move on. So today we're going to be talking about hiring. Okay. And we're in the middle of a labor shortage, right? And this is consistently a big problem that a lot of folks are running into, especially in the construction industry. And so we're going to be talking about, today I want to be talking about the actual Redmond Growth hiring system. If you guys have been a client with us for a long time, you're going to see that there's some changes to the way that we suggest running the system. And we're making some changes because the world is changing, the market's changing, everything's changing. And we have found that this is the best way to hire. And we kind of have two different modes that we're going to be doing that, how to hire for higher skilled positions and how to hire for general skilled positions. Then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking out in breakout rooms like we've been doing, which will be either led by myself, Nicole, or Jonathan Rude here. And in the breakout rooms, we're going to be covering really Indeed.com, Indeed hiring best practices. So we're going to be showing you some really cool tips, some really cool tricks that a lot of people, frankly, don't know about, that Indeed doesn't really advertise to people, that we have learned not only from our own experience, but also working directly with Indeed and then telling us how to maximize an Indeed listing. And so the first kind of idea here that I want to share with you guys is building your business is building your team. If any of you guys have read the Profit First book, one of the things that he talks about in that book is how each team member should be equivalent to a revenue amount. Should be equivalent, I think the average revenue amount that he puts there is $250,000, that each team member should represent $250,000 of revenue in the business. And the reason why I want to emphasize this is because we think a lot about growing business, and we can typically go to, marketing and lead generation, and we can typically go to, how to get guys trained up so that they're better in the field, so that they can book more profitable jobs. How can we eliminate expenses? And all that stuff is highly important. I'm not trying to mitigate any of that stuff. But really, when you're thinking about building your business, you want to think about building your team, especially if you're interested in having any sense of freedom. The reason why I loved the gentleman, the good-looking guy driving the car, that's Brent. The reason why I loved all you guys, there's like a few good-looking people driving cars right now. But the reason why I loved his video testimonial so much is because this guy is talking about how he's on a vacation with his family in Minnesota, right? You're in Minnesota, Brent? He was in Minnesota on a vacation with his family, and his business continued to run without his involvement in it. And that's the whole idea, right? We can't get there unless we have a team. I put a picture of Lord of the Rings here, of the Fellowship of the Ring. Do we have any Lord of the Rings fans in the house, right? So it wasn't one person that destroyed the ring. It wasn't, ultimately Frodo, it wasn't even Frodo who ended up destroying the ring. If you remember the final scene.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm going to spoil this movie that's been out for 20 years. So just a warning. Yeah. If you haven't seen it. Yeah.
Rudy's from Belgium. And so anytime we try to reference like our childhoods or American culture, it's always just like, whoop, right over.
I'm just kidding. This is just world culture here.
Yeah. So what happened? That ring could not have been destroyed, that big goal, unless they had this team working together. The team got split up. The team encountered so many challenges, but it was through a team that the big goal was accomplished, was Sauron was defeated, right? So the other idea that I want to you guys to think about in the same context is investing in your hiring is investing in your business. I don't know why, but a lot of people don't think of hiring this way. We see adding a new employee as an expense. We see spending money on sponsoring jobs as an expense. We see doing a sign-on bonus as an expense. But the way you want to think of those things is in terms of investment. Why do we want to think of those things in terms of investment? Because if that person is hired and that person comes in and they're on your team, they're trained up and they're rocking, how much more revenue can that person now get you? How much more time can that person now free you from activities that you are doing? Investing in your hiring is investing in your business. So let's talk about the current hiring climate, right? Not good. There's a short summary there. I was doing some research and I thought this is relevant to all you guys here. As of May 2022, there are 434,000 job openings in the construction industry, with only 389,000 construction workers unemployed. What does that mean? That means there's a shortage of close to 50,000 workers right now. I don't need to tell you guys this data for you guys to already know it. Okay. What do I gather from this? It's a competitive market right now, and finding people is tough, which is why you've got to be on your A game when it comes to hiring. You've really got to be focused. You've really got to have a system. Second thing here, 68% of trade skill business owners, it's most of you guys here, struggle to hire skilled workers, and 35% of those businesses are understaffed. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of businesses across the US right now, understaffed. Then one of the unfortunate things about hiring is that we get a lot of candidates that are not so good, right? There's a lot of crap that we have to sift through. How do we know that? According to Harvard Business Review, 81% of candidates lie in interviews, telling an average of 2.19 lies every 15 minutes. You can read that. That is in the article. According to Inc.com, 85% of candidates lie on resumes. So we've got to have a way of sorting people out quickly. Next thing is, this is an interesting stat. This was a while ago. This is almost 10 years ago, back in 2015. Gallup poll did a survey and found 68% of the American workforce is not engaged in their jobs. Is that a surprise to anyone? On camera, off camera, wherever you may be at. Is any of this a surprise to anyone?
Nope.
No. I'm getting a lot of no's. Yep. You're experiencing it. You may have not known the stats, but this is why you're experiencing it. So what does that mean? Help is desperately wanted. We all need help. There's not a shortage of opportunity. There's just a shortage of people. So what we want to talk about today is we want to talk about the Redmond Growth hiring system. And really, we're going to be talking about, this is really important to pay attention to. It's going to be detailed. I'm going to go over every single step to make this work for whatever position you're trying to hire for. Every single step to make this work, but it's detailed. There are two different approaches to your hiring process. The first approach is going to be for higher skilled positions. Hawk, good to see you, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. It's always makes my day whenever I see Hawk here. For higher skilled positions, the mentality is responding quickly. There's few trade workers. We know the stats. There's understaffed. There's not enough people for the amount of jobs that we have. So when people come in, we've got to respond quickly. For general skilled positions, these are your office admin people. These are your apprentices. These are your salespeople, your CSRs. The goal is to vet out quickly. So what we're going to be going over today is, depending on what type of position you're hiring for. If it's a skilled position, this is a licensed guy, a journeyman, someone with a really specific skill, with a really specific years of experience. It's all about responding quickly when the person comes in. If it's general skilled, it's all about vetting people out and saving your time to vet people out to condense to the ones that are going to be a good fit. So the first system I want to go over is systems for higher skilled positions. Again, we do have these calls recorded. This is going to be detailed. We do have these calls recorded. We also have both of these systems documented in one document. If during today's call or after the call, you're like, I want to see a breakdown of that systems, let your coach know. They can send you that document and you can have everything I'm about to share with you there. So higher skilled, what does that mean? We're talking about tradesmen. We're talking about people with specific degrees, specific certifications with specific training. We're talking about people when they start nearing that 5+ years of experience in a specific skill set. That's what I mean for higher skilled positions. The first step you're going to take is you got to create a compelling job post. And I capitalize compelling to emphasize compelling. It can't be this 1 paragraph, 6-sentence description of the job that doesn't inspire anyone who's of a higher skill to work there. If they're a higher skill, just think about what that candidate's thinking. They know they can get jobs. They know that they can get a job pretty much anywhere. So how do we stand out to attract those higher skilled people? First step is create a compelling job post. The general rule of thumb I tell people, make your job post sound like a place where you would want to work. Have you guys ever read, maybe before you're entrepreneurs, seen job descriptions that were just like, that looks boring as hell. Like, I do not want to work there, right? The question you need to ask yourselves is there anything in my job description that stands out from that? Rogers Plumbing, just a quick example. Rogers Plumbing is a client I work with in Leander, Texas. He's doing great, doing well. And I remember I read his job description, just wasn't that moved by it. So I literally told Roger to don't think about the rules or the format or anything that people typically think about when it comes to their job description. Just write from your heart. Just write, what type of person are you really looking for? What type of business do you have? What are your values? What are your standards? What sets you apart? You as the owner are going to be the most passionate, the most confident and compelling person that can represent your business and what you can do differently. You're going to know that more than everyone else. Make sure that that's reflected in your job post in a compelling way. Second step, post jobs on Indeed. In our breakout calls, we're going to be going over a little bit of, hey, if I'm not getting enough applicants on Indeed, what do I do? We've got a number of different resources for you guys if you're not getting enough candidates on Indeed. But the first and primary place I would encourage you guys to post is on Indeed. So you create the job post, you post on Indeed. When an applicant applies, the mentality is to drop everything to reach them. This is something that's going to be a little bit controversial. Can I say it? I'm allowed to say something a little bit controversial? Is that okay with everyone here? Okay, here's a controversial statement. When you're hiring for a skilled position and someone that actually meets the requirements for their job applies, it is more important to get in touch with that person than to even take care of the next customer. Yes, I said it. It is more important to reach out to that person than to take care of that next customer. Why? Because we're in business and we're looking to grow. We can't grow without the right people. We get that person hired. How many more customers can then that person begin to serve for you? Okay. So I'm not saying be a jerk to your customers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you're hiring for a higher skilled position, this really does become your number one priority. It's like you have to get on it, and it's all about a sense of urgency and reaching out to these people. As soon as that applicant comes in, you want to call, text, voicemail, email that person as soon as possible and as many times as possible until you reach them. We're in Hawk. Thank you. Oh my gosh. He wants me to say something more controversial. Hawk said, not controversial at all. Expected more out of you. I apologize, Hawk. I'll think of something very controversial to say. Maybe about gender equality by the end of this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to stay out of that mess. So you want to reach out to that person as soon as possible. It's a drop everything mentality. It's make it a priority mentality. And perform the phone interview right then and there whenever you reach up. I have a quote here. Rudy, can you read this quote? Because I know you know this quote.
I'm trying to think of the quote, but I'll say it. Whoa, Robert, I didn't even know that person applied.
Yes. You guys, I cannot, and this hasn't happened with anyone in the room, but I cannot tell you how many times our team has heard our clients say, I just can't get anyone to apply for the job.
Oh,
And then in the client meeting, yeah, now you know what I'm talking about. Now Randy knows what I'm talking about. I didn't give him any heads up. Then we get in the client meeting and we log into our duty account and we hear the client say that. I have already heard 2 clients say that, literally 2 different clients say that in this past week. Well, Robert, where did that person come from? I didn't even know that they applied. Guys, you have to take this seriously. You have to make sure that your Indeed emails are going to the right email to let you know that you're getting notifications. You want to be obsessive, even if you're receiving emails. You want to be obsessive about checking it. Don't be that person that tells Redmond Growth, I didn't even know that person applied. Be so on top of it that every candidate is not a surprise to you.
It's like when you tell your mom, like, I can't find something, and then she immediately goes find it. That's the feeling.
That's right.
And you tell us there's nobody who's applied on Indeed, and then we get in there and we're like, come on.
Yeah. Or we hear a lot of people before they sign up with us say, you cannot find good people in my area. You cannot find good people. And then we'll just ask them a very logical question. Hey, what are you doing to find people? What do you mean? I mean, what are you doing to find people? Like, how are you finding people? Oh, referral, word of mouth. And so I'm telling you guys, the people are out there. Yes, they're hard to find. Yes, it's competitive. Yes, there's a shortage. But these people are out there because despite a guy being happily and gainfully employed at his job a year ago, maybe his company went over a management change and that guy wants to leave and then he starts looking for a job. Maybe there are new people entering your field every year that we don't know about. The people are out there. They are hard to find. In order to find them, you got to reach out to them quickly and you got to stay on top of it. After you get on the phone with them, just schedule a one-on-one interview with them then and there. Hey, I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand. Why don't you come to my offices? Can I meet you for lunch? Do not play the role with a higher skilled position. Do not play the typical traditional American corporate role of this candidate has to impress me, even though I know they're good and even though I need them, they have to impress me in every step of the process. They have to do what I say the way I say it. They have to act like they love the job before they even know anything about it. Don't be that guy. Okay. I'm trying to make sense of this. I'm trying to make help you guys make rational decisions here, help everyone make good decisions. We are in a different format right now with the current hiring climate, and that format has been reversed. The format is if we find someone that's good, we want to accommodate them within reason to get them on our team. Because again, what does that mean for your business? For a lot of your service businesses, that means hiring that journeyman means an additional $25,000 to $30,000 a month of revenue, month after month after month. Swallow the pride, do what you need to get these guys on board. And you almost want to treat it like a dating relationship or like a customer. You want to wow them with your company. You want to wow them with your opportunity. Don't act like that guy who's like, you've got to prove to me that you're a good fit, even though I know you're already a good fit. After the one-on-one interview, immediately schedule a shadow day or a ride-along day. Does everyone know what that is? Shadow day, ride-along day? Does anyone have any questions on that? Shadow day, this is, I think, mainly popular in the restaurant industry. Whenever someone's being trained, you guys have all seen this if you've eaten out at a restaurant. Like, you ever noticed like a server is following another server around and they're not doing anything but
stage.
What was that, Kevin?
It's called a stage.
Stage. That's a fancy word.
I used to be a chef.
Okay, there you go. Maybe you can make us some barbecue after this.
I'll try.
So a stage day, that's kind of a fancy way of saying it. That might work for people. Schedule a shadow day, schedule a ride-along day. That's just a time for the candidate. The way I frame it is this. Hey, we hear a lot of people ask us, what's a day in the life of your business like? Part of our interview process is to just give people that opportunity by inviting them into our offices. I'd love to invite you into our offices to sit in on a team meeting, ride with some of our team members, sit with some of our office staff and just get a good general feel for 3 or 4 hours of how our business works. By the end of that, you're going to know whether or not this is a good place that you want to work, and we're going to know whether or not, it's a good culture fit from our end. And then after that, read resumes, check references, do background checks on anyone you want to offer the job. Okay. Now, the system for general skill positions is totally different. So the important thing is, before you go to hire, to ask yourself, hey, am I hiring someone with a higher skill? Am I looking for a licensed person? Am I looking for someone with like a minimum of 5-10 years of experience? Am I looking for a specific background, that's difficult to find? Or am I looking for someone that I could train up and develop into the right fit, really regardless of their background? Maybe there's minimum expectations or years of experience that we need. So general skill position, these are your office admins, these are your CSRs, these are your apprentices, these are your sales reps. This is everyone that's graduated with a college degree are your general skilled positions, right? The process for this is going to start pretty similar. You can post a job on Indeed. After you post a job on Indeed, create a weekly or 2 times a week. Right now, Redmond Growth, we just are looking for people. So we're doing 2 group interviews a week right now. We're looking for a salesperson. There's a lot of people that have a sales experience. They had a lemonade stand when they were 9 years old, so they have sales experience, right? And so we now have 2 weekly group times, just whatever works for your business, whatever the urgency is, whatever's going to work for the candidates. Schedule a time to do the group interview. You want to check Indeed at the beginning and end of the day. So for a position like this, don't worry about being so obsessive about it. Why? Because for a general skilled position, a lot of people qualify for that, which means you're going to get a lot more applicants for a higher skilled position. And so just get into a routine and ritual of checking Indeed at the beginning and end of the day, and invite everyone who applies. Yes, I said it. Invite everyone who applies. Maybe you can come up with some deal breaker questions, to vet out people that absolutely wouldn't be a fit on Indeed. We'll be going over deal breaker questions here in just a moment in the breakout rooms, but invite everyone who applies. The goal is to not necessarily expect everyone's going to be qualified for the job. The goal is to vet people out and to shrink down the applicant pool to only work with the ones that you really want to work with. When inviting everyone, use the power of Indeed email templates. And what do? It takes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. One of our team members, Hannah, is managing this process for us internally right now. She goes on Indeed, sees anyone who's applied and who's passed the deal breaker questions, and she just sends an email template to all of them. Hey, thank you so much. We have a copy of that email template if you guys want it, but hey, thank you so much for applying. We're holding an interview. You look like you may be a great fit. Here's the information of the interview. Can I expect you there? After they say yes, you can expect me there. Send an email confirmation. Why do I recommend sending an email confirmation? All that is this. You send the first email, hey, I'd like to invite you to a group interview. Candidate says, yes, I'll be there. All I'm saying on the confirmation email is just say, great, you are confirmed, looking forward to having you. That tells the candidate, again, that this is a real opportunity, that it's legitimate, that it's confirmed. I heard the other day, one of my clients was hiring, and a guy he scheduled an interview with didn't show up for the interview. And he's like, why didn't you show up with the interview? And the guy literally told him, it's like, I never got a confirmation from you. He's like, I thought we talked about it. I said, 1 o'clock, we'll meet for lunch. He said, I never got a confirmation. So send the confirmation, gives the candidates a peace of mind. And I will even say the day of the interview, the next point here, text the candidates in the morning confirming their attendance. Just send them a quick text. Anyone who said that they're going to be there, put their names on a list, send them a quick text. Hey, so looking forward to having you in our group interview, or so looking forward to have you to the interview. Here's our address. Let me know if you have any questions. Looking forward to meeting you later today. That's it. Send a quick text. Step 7, hold group interview. If you guys have never held a group interview, we don't have enough time to cover that today. We have a whole entire outline of how to do that. We have everything you need to say there. We have how to do it. We have the whole entire format, what you need to say, how to address the awkwardness of a group interview that you're sometimes walking into. You have all these candidates there and they're like looking at each other like, are we competing with each other for this job? Like sitting right here. How to address that kind of weirdness that the group interview can sometimes start with. If you need a group interview outline, again, just reach out to your coach. We can get you that. When you hold a group interview, you as the owner or whoever's leading the group interview will do most of the talking. However, most of us here, just by looking at a room full of people, can tell which ones are going to probably be a good fit for our environment, which ones are not. Might be a little bit of gray area that we have left to explore, but the group interview, the way it vets people out is whoever shows up to the group interview, that is the vetting tool. Most of the people that say they're going to be there will not actually show up, and that's how the process is meant to work. It doesn't mean, I hear people like tell me, Robert, I had 12 people that say they're going to be there and only 3 showed up. And they almost tell me that as if it's not working. But I'm like, you just saved yourself, 10 hours that you would have scheduled one-on-one interviews with for people that weren't going to show up. And you found the 3 that are dependable and reliable. Those are the 3 that you should look forward to seeing. Those are the 3 that you should spend more time with. So during the group interview, we pass out goal sheets, we open it up for questions, but we can typically get a good assessment for the candidate, who's sharp, who's not, from that group interview. After that, we invite those candidates to shadow. I was meeting with Hannah yesterday. She's helping us with our hiring here internally. And she said, hey, Robert, I've got this guy. He seems like he might be a good fit, but he might have a little bit of an ego. We've dealt with ego people here at Redmond Growth before. Does not work well for me, okay? This company is only big enough for one ego, and that is my dad's. No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that. My dad is in Europe right now. He doesn't even have a chance to defend himself. But
this is recorded.
Yeah. Oh man, no, Daddy. I'm sorry. Please don't get mad at me, Daddy. Please don't take equity away from me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I make a joke sometimes, and I say, I went to go join my dad. I went to go work with my dad because I wanted him to be proud of me. And now with 6 years of working together, he is more disappointed in me than he's ever been. No, I'm totally kidding. That's a total joke. We have a great relationship. Anyway, any candidates that stand out? Oh, I was talking to Hannah. She was telling me about this person. Hey, I'm not sure about this person. I said, well, there's only so much we can know from a group interview. Invite them to shadow and let's let the process vet the person out. That's how the process is meant to work. Invite them to a shadow day, spend a few hours with you, with your team, with your office. You'll get a good sense of them. I also ask our people, hey, what did you think of this person? Like, I want feedback. Like, I want to hire someone that's going to be a good culture fit for the rest of the team, So I asked for the team's opinion on a shadow day as well. Then after the shadow day, read resumes, check references, do background checks on anyone you want to offer the job. That's the time to go deeper. If they've made it to that stage, if by after the shadow day, you're still feeling good at them, then you spend the extra time with them because you don't want to be spending that time of doing detailed reads of resumes, references, background checks, if the person shows up and is like a terrible culture fit. Like I had one person show up to a shadow day a couple months ago. And in the group interview, I told this dude like, hey man, I love your earrings, but we just can't wear them while we're consulting business owners. Does that make sense? He said, yeah, I totally get it. That makes sense. I said, cool. This dude shows up to the shadow day. He's wearing his earrings. And I very kindly pulled him aside and said, hey, you remember we talked about the earrings? We kind of can't wear those. And the guy told me, oh, that was a misunderstanding. You should be more clear next time, is what he told me. And I very kindly looked at him and said, I don't think this is going to work. In the first 10 minutes of him showing up to the shadow day, I said, I don't think this is a good fit. I appreciate you coming out, but this isn't a good fit. And the guy got upset. But that's how the process is meant to work. I just avoided someone who doesn't listen, who is going to be pushing back to management, who can't take feedback well. Like that's how the process is meant to work.
Hey, Robert, we just had a question come in at the chat from Hawk, and it says, what about paying for the shadow day?
So here's what I tell people. If you're going to put them to work, pay them, Hawk. If they're actually going to be working, yes, you want to pay them. If they're just shadowing you, though, that's part of your interview process. I used to be in recruiting before I joined my dad and to help grow the business. I used to be in recruiting. It'd be very common for a lot of the businesses that I'd work with, and we work primarily with IT companies, large multi-million and even billion-dollar IT companies. It'd be very common for these people to have a full interview day where they invite these high-skilled workers to come and interview for the day. You want to think about that in the same way. So if you're going to be having the person like do work for you, like if they're doing work, pay them. That's only right. But if they're just shadowing and they're just in the process, then they're just in your interview process. It's just a longer interview is how I think of it. You know, it's not necessarily an interview in terms of you're not sitting down for 3 or 4 hours asking them questions about their background kind of interview, but it still is, hey, we're interviewing the person. We're wanting to see if they're getting a good, going to be a good fit.